Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. $7014 at 100 amps. 1/8 inch rod. A year ago I stopped at an estate sale. The guy used to be an on-the-road welder, and he had tons of welding rods. A lot of it was 7014, 1/8 inch, which is a great size to weld with. I bought out everything they had, about 40 pounds. The last set of bosses that I welded up, I welded the tube in and I welded the end cap on. It was pretty much a test run for the Metalman welder. It did a good job. With 3/32 rod, it welded up just fine. It was running about 60 amps, which with the machine having a maximum of 70, was pretty good. Metalman is nice. Good little welder. Not as good as my big one though. $7014 rod is easy to weld too. Not quite up to my professional standards, but good enough. Having a little trouble getting my hand in. I noticed that I'm having trouble tracking the joint. But the Harbor Freight electronic helmet is a lot better than doing it the old-fashioned way with flipping my hood down. At least I don't have to chase where the start is. That ought to hold just fine. I set the first boss outside to cool. It's a nice thing about having winter weather. You got all kinds of cold to work with. You don't want to set them in a snowbank though. You'll freeze that weld and crack it. I'm going to be bolting the drawbar right onto these bosses, so I want to have the area where it clamps on there nice and flat. So I'm grinding down the welds. Three and a half inches in from the end, just where I want it. Cheating just a little bit, but if you ain't cheating, you ain't racing. I'm using this little plate here to hold that straight up and down so that I got this parallel to the bottom edge of this, and that's exactly how I want it. I'm going to tack this in place, then I'm going to weld it up 100% and then grind off the weld on the bottom. I'm going to get good penetration because of the curve of this tube. That's going to let me have a really good V out in there so I can get good penetration on the end of this tube. So I'm going to weld that there, weld it 100% around here, and then I'm going to put that fish plate on there and weld that fish plate on too, as the additional strength. The load on this is going to be trying to tear this off this way. So I'm going to add that fish plate on there as an extra bit of protection to make sure that if I have too much of a load on there, I don't bend this ear up and snap that weld off. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I've not had a weld break like that before. But you know, if you take precautions when you're starting, it saves a whole lot of fixing things later. All right, let's get some tack welds on that. While I'm tacking this, that other can is cooling off, so I'll be able to grind it down, and then I'll weld it on the other side. I want to do all this grinding when I can flip it around and make it easy to get to. Four good tacks on there. Take this plate off. Some people might think it's a little silly to spend all the time chipping and wire brushing when you can just go ahead and burn the rod around it and it'll probably cut through the flux and do a good job. I'm going to be lifting really heavy stuff with this thing, and it's going to be over my head. I don't want it to drop. There's absolutely no advantage in rushing. Especially knowing that I'm not as good at this as I once was. Okay, that was the first decent weld that I laid it. That doesn't look too bad. This bottom one, I'm going to want to take this off of this leg and then weld that up with it in position. This is a T-joint. T-joint's not bad. It's not perfect. It'd be great if I laid it down into a V so that I could weld it up. But T-joint isn't bad. But I don't want to do a horizontal weld on this one. I'm trying to get good penetration, and that's one of the major welds on this whole operation. I want to have that weld be absolutely perfect. But I can get this one in there, set up, so that I can use it as a locator to set the other one. After I get that done, I'll unbolt these bolts, take this tube out, set it in the vise by itself, rotate it around so I get a good operation on the thing. Okay, what's next? Grind off that other beam. You've seen this, so we'll just skip through. Set up my little deal with a fish plate over here again. This 1/2-inch Milwaukee Magnum is a beast. Does a wonderful job of cutting. I think I've done all I can do today. Time's running out, I got other things going. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.